in Israel, Refuah Shelema Bezat Hashem, and to also the officer Nadav Chaim ben Irit Chaya Bezat Hashem. Ve'ele HaMishpatim. So just so you know, Parashat Mishpatim is actually part of the Ten Commandments. The Zohar Kadosh says that the entire parasha of Yitro and Mishpatim is really one evening. You know, Vav of Sivan, right? As we know, they received the Ten Commandments on the 6th of Sivan. It says, when we say Kiddush, Yom HaShishi, Vayachulu HaShishi, it's Vav Besivan, the 6th of Sivan. That's when Hashem brought the written Torah to the world. Okay? And of course, they said that Moshe Rabbeinu gathered the people. Hashem sent him back and forth 3 times. While in the 3rd time, when Moshe is coming down the mountain, Hashem starts speaking the 10 Commandments. Why? Because Hashem promised Moshe that they will believe you forever. I will speak so they can hear me. So they don't say, who is Moshe talking to who? We don't hear. Hashem spoke to the people of Israel. Vayiru et hakolot. They saw the voice. This is oracle in software, right? Also known as ultrasound. There's 2 speeds that we can measure. The speed of light and the speed of sound. And when you connect them, it's called ultrasound. Or ultra is or sound, right? Ultrasound. And now Moshe Rabbeinu is giving them the Mishpatim. Hashem, the Zohar Kadosh says, really spoke the whole 10 Commandments in one utterance, right? And ve'ele HaMishpatim, Moshe then spoke the Mishpatim. But of course, there is a teaching whereby the Gemara says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke the 2 first commandments, and Moshe spoke the other 8. Why? Because Moshe Rabbeinu will pass 8 verses before the end of the Torah. In Parashat Vezot HaBracha, Moshe died 8 verses before the end of the Torah, and Hashem gave him the 8th commandment to speak against the 8 verses. Moshe Yamut 8 psukim lifnei sof HaTorah. There is 620 letters in the 10 Commandments. If you count, there is 600. In the first 5 ma'amarot, there is actually what we call 553 letters, and the other 5 of the left, there is 87 letters. Together 620. Why 620? Against the 620 mitzvot. We have 613 from Hashem, Deoraita, and 7 from Rabbanan. Right? 620. 620 is also Yom HaShishi. HaShishi, Shishi, Begimatria, is Keter. Shai and Shai. 620. Okay? Moshe Rabbeinu says, Ve'ele HaMishpatim asher tasim lifnehem. Every time the Torah says Ve'ele, it's addition to something else. So the 10 Commandments, Ve'ele, it's part of the 10 Commandments. When Hashem spoke, the people of Israel say, Naaseh, we should do. When Moshe spoke, Ve'nishma, we should hear. It's a mitzvah for us to do, then you hear good news. Right? Don't wait, Hashem, don't do condition with Hashem. Naaseh, Ve'nishma. You do, don't worry, you'll hear the good news. Guaranteed. There's 2 things Hashem says you can test me on. The Gemara says, Hashem says 2 things you can put conditions. Tzedakah and Shabbat. Whatever you spend for Shabbat, Hashem says, guarantee I will pay you. Whatever you give tzedakah, aser asrenu lach, I will make you ashir. If you give 10, aser shetit asher. You ever give tzedakah, you ashir. Right? I always explain my children when they were young. Says, Abba, why you give tzedakah? This is so much. Why? I said, here's a cup for you and here's a cup for you. Right? Full with coins. Right? Now, whoever chooses to give, I give more coins. I fill it up again and again and again and again, all your life. The one that doesn't give, stay with the whatever, have 1 cup of coins. That's it. As simple as that. Right? Many people says, where is God? We didn't see God. We don't see God. It's been since Matan Torah, 3,335 years. Only then the people saw the Maaseh Merkava. They saw the chariot of Hashem. You know, I always say, when you go on an airplane, right? You basically put your life in somebody's hands that you never met. A pilot. You don't know who's the pilot. You trust a pilot, you don't trust Hashem. Right? It says, Ve'ele HaMishpatim. There are going to be now 53 mitzvot. You know, since they received the Torah, there in book of Bereshit, there was only 3 mitzvot. That's it. The book of Bereshit, there was the Prurvu, which is, to have children, get married, have children. The second one is Brit Milah. The third one is sciatic nerve. Don't Gida Nashe, don't eat from the sciatic nerve. That's it. Now that they received that, as we know in Parashat Bo and some other, they got already 23 mitzvot. Now 53 mitzvot. Against the 53 mitzvot, there is 23 mitzvot aseh, do, you shall do, and 30 lo ta'aseh, you should not do. Ve'ele in Gematria is 42. Why 42? There'll be 42 journeys for the people of Israel now. Bamidbar יהיו 42 מסעות. The Chafetz Chaim and the Baal Shem Tov says, we're all going to have 42 journeys in our life. Against the journeys that the people of Israel went from the moment they left Egypt to the moment they came to Israel. 42 journeys. 42 is also Bam, right? We say every day, V'dibarta Bam. You should speak within them. What's Bam? Bam, bar, bam, 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 right? What's Bam? We have two Torah. We have Torah written, Bet Bereshit, and we have the Torah Be'al Peh, the Gemara, Me'ematai, Bam. In order to understand the Torah, you have to be both of them, Bam. Right? Bam, Bereshit, and Me'ematai. You have to learn the Torah and the oral Torah. Ve'ele ha'mishpatim. Outside of this mishpatim, that right now we have 53 mitzvot, 42 of them is between Adam lachavero. 42 of them is between us. And the remainder is between us and Hashem. If you look at the right 10 commandment on the side, the 5 right mitzvot on the 10 commandment is ben what we call Adam lamakom, ben Hashem, between us and Hashem, and the other 5 is ben Adam lechavero, between us and other mankind, right? The Gemara says that Yom Kippurim will never ever atone for any problems you have between you and your friend. In order to come to Yom Kippurim, you have to forgive each other. Machul lecha, machul lecha, maluchu lecha. It says, if you have mercy on your friends, I will have mercy on you. Hashem says, mi sherachum al chaverav, ani rachum klapav. It says, the Gemara, that ve'ele ha'mishpatim, asher tasim lifnehem, put them ahead of them. Only for the Jewish people. Lifnehem is for us, for our children, for generation. The Goyim, not obligated by only 7 Noahide laws. By the way, there's halacha. You're not allowed to teach a Goy Torah. Assume. If you want to teach him anything, just 7 Noahide laws. Which is part.
That's plenty.
That's plenty. But from them, they have dinim, which is hundreds. Right? As you know, the 7 Noahide laws is you don't basically ever minachai, you don't curse Hashem, you don't murder, you don't chaz v'chalila do adultery, idolatry, and you have to have dinim. You have to have judges. You're not allowed to curse Hashem. Those are the 7 Noahide laws. That's the only thing you can teach them. It says, this ele mishpatim lifnehem, put them ahead of us. That's the mitzvah of us to teach our children. When we go to grave, we put a stone on. We take an Evan and we put it on. Mm-hmm. Why Evan? Evan is what Yaakov Avinu, before he went to sleep on Mount Moriah, he had the dream. He took 12 stones, he came in the morning, became 1. Is really Evan, as we say, is an acronym. Abba, Ben, Neched. Father, son, grandson. And mother, Ima, Bat, Nechda. Mm-hmm. We have to teach, if you teach 3 generations, learn together, like Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they learned together for 15 years. Mm-hmm. They were alive together. 15 years, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, they learned together. Guarantee the Torah in your family for eternity. If 3 generations learn together. If you take your son Yehuda, and he has a son or a daughter, and you learn together, the Torah will never leave your family. Guaranteed. It says, why? Tasim lifnehem, put them ahead of them. The Torah starts, Hashem now just gave the 10 Commandments. By the way, the whole Matan Torah was actually 6 hours. And the Mishpatim, Moshe is reading to them for 3 hours. So the entire night was Erev Shabbat and Shabbat. Yom HaShishi, Vayiv Besivan was Shishi. And in the night, they received the Torah. And Moshe Rabbeinu read to them, now he's teaching them the 53 mitzvot. So by the morning of Shabbat, that's it, they went back to their tents. The question is asked, why Hashem starts with a slave? Eved Ivri. to show us that we came from Egypt as avadim, right? To Hashem took us out of slaves, right? The Gemara says you can never buy a slave and thinking that he's your slave. You actually become his slave. Gemara says when you buy a slave,
You have to feed him.
you have to do everything for him. Health insurance, feed his kids. If you have children, you have to feed them. You have to give him clothes. You really, for what, a little bit of work. He said, but I want you, the Baal Orach Chaim HaKadosh says something amazing. Rabbi Chaim ben Atar. He says, why Hashem start with this mitzvah? Eved. You could start with, I don't know, Pesach, Matan. You can speak of big things. He said, no. If your brother become, how a brother can become a servant? Because he left Hashem. You have to watch each other so they don't leave Hashem. It says a person sold as a slave. Why? Because he did not have faith in Hashem and he stole something. When people steal, that means I don't believe Hashem will give you parnasa. It's one of the 10 commandments. Lo tigno. Even to steal person or to steal things. But in a sense, it says, Eved, I want you to take care of your brothers so they don't become, Eved Ivri. Slaves. Why you, Chaz v'chalila, buy Eved Ivri? Let's say Chaz v'chalila came, I stole $100,000. Right? In the Gemara, and the Torah says that when you steal, whatever you steal, the first time you get caught, you pay double. That's it. I have to pay $200,000. I don't have it. I have to go now, be sold as a slave to pay for it. And this is Hashem says, be each other's grantors. Don't let your brother become a slave. See what he needs. Help each other. Talk to each other. Instill in them parnasa. What's parnasa? The word parnasa in Hebrew is rasen peh. If you keep your mouth closed, you'll get parnasa. If you don't say lashon hara, Hashem will give you parnasa. Business in English. You heard the word business?
Yeah.
It's not English. It's 2 words in Hebrew. Bezenes. Your parnasa come with the miracle of Hashem.
Oh.
Nobody gives you parnasa but Hashem.
Bezenes.
Business.
Business.
Right?
Business.
Why? Because of rasen peh.
Like a nest, like
Yes,
a miracle.
a miracle.
Beze.
Because you didn't speak rasen peh, you receive parnasa. Bezenes. Now the Torah says, Shesh shanim ya'avud. It says even if you purchase a Hebrew servant, only 6 years you can work by definition. Let's say I say, okay, after that, it takes me now to pay my debt for 6 years. By the way, if you steal a say, you have to pay 4 times, a lamb. If you steal an ox, you have to pay 5 times, because they bring you parnasa, so you have to pay the parnasa. If you take it and you slaughter it and you eat it, or whatever the case may be. But if you become a servant, the most you can work is 6 years, unless you choose to work more. 6 שנים תעבוד, ובשנה השביעית תצא לחופשי חינם. Question is asked, why חופשי and חינם? חופשי is free, חינם is free. Not really. So the Zohar HaKadosh says, I want you to know, 6 שנים תעבוד is a reincarnation. You can come back 6 times as a person to fix yourself. Tikkun. If let's say we're here, all of us here now, because we're here to לעשות tikkun. We're born to this world to fix something. Whatever is hard for us, that's our fix.
Right.
The Arizal HaKadosh, he was Neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu. He says, you'll never see a person that doesn't have line here. You see these lines? Right? You see lines?
Yeah.
By the way, each line represents a reincarnation. How many times you've been here?
Oh, like a tree.
Yes. If you go like this, you see, I've been here for 2.5 times.
More than 6.
No, right here, just here, you see? At 7, you have the tefillin. No, but here, the Arizal says you'll never see a person that has no lines. That means they'll not be here. This is the secret of how many times you've been here in this world, again and again. 6 times you can come as human, but you can come as animals, you can come as trees, you can come as fruit many times. 6 שנים תעבוד, בשנה השביעית, he said, if you fix, you have 6 chances. Shvi'it is olam haba, right? Chofshi and chinam. What's chofshi? Chofshi is free. Chinam is without pay. What does it mean without pay? It said the Zohar Kadosh chinam Gimatria 98 against the 98 curses in Parashat Kitavo. You're free from the 98 curses. The curses of Kitavo.
Yeah.
The last one is slavery. Eved.
Oh.
Eved is the worst thing it could be. You have no rights. Your owner can marry you with Canaanite woman to have children, so they'll be his slaves. Imagine that.
For 6 years.
For 6 years.
You have to feed them.
You have to feed
You have
them,
to
clothe
take
them,
care of them.
everything. And
And after that, they are free
if
and clear.
yes, but
That's a freedom.
no, but it's not freedom. Now all the children you had, let's say you have a child
But
every
after 6 years, they're going to be free.
no, you keep them. The owner keeps them
For more than 6 years?
forever.
What kind of clever
Ah,
Will be
exactly.
Jewish kids.
Huh? No, they'll be Canaanites. Goyim.
But what happened with the guy, the Jewish guy that steals something? He becomes a slave now and he's Jewish.
For 6 years, up to 6 years. You can be a slave for 3 months. It depends how long it takes to pay his debt. But up to 6 years. But after 6 years, if the guy comes and says, you know what, I love my job. I love my boss. I love my life. I want to stay with him. This is somebody that gave up on Hashem completely. Right? They bring him and they do a hole in his left ear, but Martzea in Gematria 400. It says this is the 400 slavery years in Egypt. He never came out of Egypt. A person in himself is still feel as a slave. We are obligated to reach out to our friends. You know, we the Jewish people today are in the days of Mashiach. What you see in Israel today is really the epitome of the nevuah.
Miracles.
Huh? It's crazy what's happening in Israel now. You have the top officers, generals, military, the upper echelon, all don't accept democracy. Democracy is a two-way street, right? It's not one way. Whoever won should rule. Apparently, they don't want to have the vote that was voted by the majority of Israel. 2.5 million says we want right. We want Jewish country. We don't want a Goyim country. We don't want another Europe country in Israel. But they're going against it. By the way, I want you to watch all the people that go against this. This is the people that Hashem shows will not exist in Tchiyat HaMetim. In Israel, the Gemara says something amazing. And the prophecy in several of them says that when Hashem does, the Acharit HaYamim, He will show you so many things called Alma de Shikra. Everything will be upside down. Complete lies. Black is white, white is black, stuff that you'll never, like you see in America and the government, in Israel and the government, in the world, you see so much stuff that's like so common sense. A child understands yes or no. But they do so much. There's a promise in the Torah, both in Zechariah and on many other Nevi'im, that when Hashem brings Mashiach, we're all going to come to Israel. There will be first Mashiach, Bet HaMikdash HaShlishi, the third temple will come ready from Shamayim, the Zohar says. You don't have to do anything. Ke'ir shechubra la yachdav. And then Hashem would gather all the Jewish people from all over the world. Kibbutz Galuyot. Now you will ask yourself, where everybody's going to live? Let's say, right now you have...
In your room.
So I want you to know, the Torah says, I will give you homes you never built. I will give you factories you never created, wells you never dug, orchards you never planted. Basically, all the people that go against Hashem, you can have their homes, you can have their factories, you can have everything. You just step into any place you want. All the Arab villages that was built in Israel and everything, you can take whatever you want, they'll be yours. When there's two kinds of Mashiachim coming. Mashiach ben Yosef, to do all the war, and then Mashiach ben David. Mashiach ben Yosef, says the Zohar Kadosh, the moment he appears, majority of the Arab Rav will leave Israel. They are Safsuf. In Israel today, you have 9 million. Out of them, there's less than 60% real Jews.
Right.
Less. Imagine this, almost half plus. The rest are Christians, Arabs, unbelievable. For the past 20 years, most of the Aliyah that came to Israel, 87% of them are not Jewish.
Right.
87%. Not Jewish at all. So now in Israel, they brought million Russian. Right?
But a lot of
With
Russians-
Benjamin Netanyahu, there be 1 million Russian. Out of them, there were 12% Jews. Now, the Russian women got with Israelis kids. None of the kids are Jewish.
They need to do
Itbolelut.
conversion. center.
It's too late.
התבוללות.
התבוללות הכי גדולה, you know.
Now you put like $1 and you get 4 quarters. You need to put $1 and you get 4 Jews. Boom, boom, boom.
The problem that we have today,
It's the problem.
is nobody knows unless you become from Orthodox family in Israel, there is no lineage. Right? A Russian woman can say I'm from Jewish,
Right.
but to go prove it.
And, yeah.
Nothing.
Well, the records are back in Moscow.
That's so they say something amazing. They say that when Mashiach comes, he would just show up. Many of the fearful Arabs and Goyim would leave Israel immediately. The one that would stay, he would just look at them and burn them.
There will be no
He
more
would just
people in
look at them and burn them. Amir, ישתכל עליהם. יושב בסתר עליון, בצל שדי תלונן. This is the Mashiach. Ben Yosef. It's Tehillim about Mashiach. Read it carefully. This is how it's going to be. Just a bit. You will just look at them, v'shlomat rasha'im. It will just burn them. You saw Superman. You know how Superman looks and do laser? It's Mashiach. This is the cut from the Zohar, the Kabbalah. By the way, most of Hollywood are Jewish. Every movie you see, from Cinderella. You heard of Cinderella? It's David HaMelech when they hit him, right? So he doesn't become the king, which, right? He was everything that you see today is really Alma de Shikra. This is the time to get closer to Hashem more than anything. Because when Mashiach comes, there's no more tshuva. No such thing. There's no tshuva. Right now is exactly the last prophecy. Most of the prophecy already happened. 97% of them already happened. There is very, very few prophecy that's happening in front of our eyes. And this is the time for us to, Be'ezrat Hashem, get closer. Don't let your brother be Eved Ivri. Ve'ele ha'mishpatim. And these are the sentences. Remember that, because if a brother of yours become an Eved, that means he left Hashem. And we're each other's grantor. Arevim ze lazeh. We're each other's grantor. What that means, Arevim ze lazeh? When I do a mitzvah, it benefits you. When he does a mitzvah, it benefits me. When you do a mitzvah, it benefits each other. Sometimes one mitzvah can save 10 Jews. You know the 2 kids that were killed on Friday, murdered by a terrorist.
Yaakov and Asher.
Yaakov and Asher. 2 beautiful neshamot. Yara dodi legano. Hashem came to his garden and picked 2 roses. Because of the 2, the entire people of Israel saved. It's hard for us to understand and fathom why kids, what did they do? Such beautiful, religious kids. Their mother yesterday said something amazing. She said they are the korban of the people of Israel. It's the sacrifice to save everybody in Israel. Think about what a strong woman to say such thing. Another woman, when the 3 boys were kidnapped, remember before the Gaza excursion, the first one, about 7-8 years ago. 3 boys, yeshiva boys, murdered instantly. We knew on the first day that they were dead, just so you know. But we didn't say anything to the whole world. Why? The Rabbanim decided to gather the Jewish people to say Tehillim together. The mother of one of them said something amazing. She said, don't ask why. Lama. Whoever said Lama is a complainer. Ask Lema. What for? What should we learn from this? Lama and Lema is just a vowel. You change. But it's Ken, Kamatz v'tzireh. It says what? Shva, אם אני לא טועה, no? Shva. It says, don't say Lama. Lama is complaining. Even Moshe Rabbeinu says, Lama ri'ot alahem. Moshe said, complain. And he didn't come to Israel because of that. Moshe, the biggest tzaddik in the world. Don't say Lama. We don't understand Hashem's ways, and we're 0. Say Lema. What for? What can we learn from it? When things like that happen, Ishmael, the Torah called him Pere Adam. Right? The Torah says in Bereshit, Ishmael is not human. Pere, that looks like Adam. Animals are not like that. Animals don't kill for the sake of killing, for no reason. They eat if they want to kill. They have to eat. They don't just kill. Pere Adam. You can have the most educated Arab, a doctor in Israel, for an example, surgeon in Hadassah, go and try to kill people with a car. That's 5 kids. It's like, wow, you're so educated. It doesn't matter. Pere Adam. Ishmael, come and do this on Friday night. Twice already. Right? Last 2 Fridays ago. Hashem says, look, the Shabbat is the holiest thing. In Israel today, almost 70% don't keep Shabbat. Some say only 20% keep Shabbat. And because of this 20%, the whole world exists. Without Shabbat, there'll be no world. The first thing that Hashem says, Hashem, stopped everything on Shabbat. Ve'ele ha'mishpatim. These are the sentences put ahead of them. Because after all said and done, believe me when I say, I'm about tshuva myself. I started religious, I left and I came back. Okay? There is nothing more important than the Torah, the Shabbat, the mitzvot, the tefillot that we have together. When we sit here together, when we have a minyan, the minyan save a whole city. Imagine this. You come every morning, Baruch Hashem, Shimon HaTzadik open the shul every day, and Henry, Baruch Hashem, they come early, they make sure everything is ready. This is what Yoshua became a king. Because he did that. He went to help Moshe, he used to fix the Bet HaMidrash. Every morning. He'll be there before Moshe and the Sivim Sakenim, before Aaron, and he would leave after everybody left. He said, this saves the city. Even Abraham, remember when he wanted to save 5 cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, he says, can I find 50 people? Meaning 10 in each minyan, in each city. Not Jewish even. He could save a city. If you have 10 people that believe in God, can save a whole city. The minyan is Shechina Shorabo. So Be'ezat Hashem, don't let your brother become a slave. Help them. See what they need. Don't worry, whatever you give, Hashem says, I guarantee I'll give you back tenfolds. When you talk to each other, sometimes we come, we don't even know each other's names. I used to teach in La Jolla, still do, but when I first started teaching, I went to the biggest shul in La Jolla. It's been there for 30 years. For 30 years, people don't know who sits next to them, what their name, what their family, who they are, nothing. I started a program there. I was on the board of directors. The program was to know each other. I said, first, get to know each other. How can you sit next to somebody for 12 years, 10 years, 7 years, some of them 30? They don't know anything. I said, what's his name? Doesn't know. How many kids? They don't know. What does he do? He doesn't know. There's no guarantors. We are each other's guarantors. Know each other. Ask, what can I be of any help? Can I do anything? Even just talk. Bring them. Yeah?
Yeah.
You have to help. Even if just smile. They say, the Gemara says, a smile, loven ashinaim, the white of a teeth, is better than a gallon of milk to give somebody. Give a smile. Talk to them. So Be'ezat Hashem, may we always continue to grow in Torah, and HaMishpatim ha'ele will be good for us. Thank you so much.